Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you are doing good. Now we are going to learn a new poem. The name of the poem is The Shed. Do you like the stories of ghost? So this poem is a mysterious one. Something related with that eerie feeling, a ghostly feeling in it. But it is not about ghost. It's about a shed. The poet feels a little bit of fear. He is scared to look at that shed at the bottom of his garden. And to increase his fear of that shed, his brother has told him that there lives a ghost. And whenever he passes in front of that shed, he feels that someone from inside the shed stares at him. But immediately he comes to his rationality and thinks about going into the shed one day. So this poem is very interesting. Now let us move on to the poem. Let me read the poem for you. The shed. There is a shed at the bottom of our garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I am in bed, I lie and I listen. I will open the door one day. There is a dusty old window around at the side with 3 cracked panes of glass. I often think there is someone staring at me. Each time that I pass, I will peep through that window one day. My brother says there is a ghost in the shed who hides under the rotten floorboards. And if I ever dare to set food inside, he will jump out and chop off my head. But I will take a peek one day. I know that there isn't really a ghost. My brother tells lies to keep the shed for his den. There isn't any stirring or making strange noises, and the spider has been gone from his web. Since I don't know when, I will go into that shed one day soon. But not just yet. Written by Frank Flynn. Now let us learn. What does the poet want to convey with us as readers? Anyhow, a general idea that we get from the first reading itself. An abandoned shed at the bottom of the garden, and the poet wants to get into it, but he feels that somebody is inside there. And to strengthen his feelings, his brother tells him lies that if he dares to step into the shed, a ghost will jump out and chop off his head. And later he realizes that there is no such thing as a ghost in it. he is not ready to get into it. Now let us go to the poem and we can analyze line by line. Do you know what a shed is? A cow shed, a tool shed, a wood shed, for example. It's a small room away from the main house for storing or keeping things, sometimes keeping animals or tools, vehicles, etc. Ask your partner if she or he has ever seen a shed. Let her, him, describe it to the entire class. Now let us read the poem. There is a shed at the bottom of our garden. Here, bottom means at the end of their garden. There is a shed. Here, one shed. I will show you one more shed there at the bottom of the garden. Look at this shed here. It is at the bottom of the garden of the poet, the narrator. There is a shed with a spider's web hanging across the door. Look at the spider's web here that is hanging across the door there. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. The hinges, they are rusty due to old, and whenever wind blows, it creates certain creaking noises. Look at the hinges here. The iron hinges that create certain noise when wind blows. When I am in bed, I lie and I listen. Whenever the poet lies on his bed, he could hear the noise from the shed. And I will open that door one day. And he wanted to go and get into the shed one day. But he couldn't do it now. He is postponing his going into the shed for another day because he is afraid of somebody from inside the shed staring at him. That is his feeling. So he doesn't want to go into it all of a sudden. Now let us move on to the next page. There's a dusty old window around at the side. A special rusty and dusty old window around at the side of the shed. Look at that window. There is a dusty old window around at the side. If you go around the shed, at the side you can see a rusty and a dusty old window with 3 cracked panes of glass. The window pane glass is already broken into pieces. Now let us watch that broken window pane of that shed. Look at this, the broken window pane. I often think there is someone staring at me. Many a time when the poet passes in front of that shed, he feels that somebody from inside the shed staring at him. Look here, somebody is staring. He feels that somebody from inside the shed staring at him. Each time that I pass, I will peep through that window one day. So that is his fear. He is chaos to get into the shed or look at the shed. because he feels that is somebody from inside the shed staring at him. Yet he decides to get into the shed one day. Look at the next stanza. My brother says there is a ghost in the shed. So to add or to scare him, to add fuel to the fire, something like that, to make him more scared, his brother told him that there is a ghost in the shed who hides under the rotten floorboards. Yes, a ghost hides there under the rotten floorboards. And if I ever dare to set foot inside, if he dares to get into the shed, he will jump out and chop off my head. Chop off here means cut off. This is the fearful story his brother tells him always. Yes, there is a ghost inside the shed, and if the poet dares to enter there, he will jump out from his hiding place and chop his head. But I will take a peek one day. But he decides to get into it one day. But I will take a peek one day. Peek here means to take a look slyly. Slyly means secretly. He wanted to take a look into the shed one day. Come to the next paragraph. I know that there isn't really a ghost. This is his sense, his rational thinking tells the poet that he consoles himself from his brain, from his rational thinking, that he knows very well that there is no ghost there in the shed. My brother tells lies to keep the shed for his den. Yes, he realizes that his brother is lying to him to make the shed his den, his own place for keeping something secret or playing there. He wanted to make the shed for himself. That's why he is lying, he says. He realizes, the poet realizes. There isn't anyone staring or making strange noises. In reality, no one is inside the shed to stare at somebody or stare at the poet or making strange, very noises like that of a ghost. He realizes it. And the spider has been gone from his web since I don't know when. And later he realized that the spider has been gone. The spider has been gone from its web because his brother should have entered there and removed all those things. No spider can be seen there now. But he is not sure when it happened. I will go into that shed one day soon. And he decides to go into that shed one day soon. But not just yet. But not just yet. Because his mind is still filled with this figure, this ghostly figure from inside the shed. Look at this image, this video. It's about the appearance of a ghost that he sees in his dreams, but in reality, nothing is there, that he realizes at the end of the poem. So children, don't afraid of reading or watching this video. We know that as the poet come to the conclusion at the end of the poem, there is nothing like ghost or a spirit in our life. They are only the creations of our mind. And as the poet is a young boy, he is feeling something mysterious, something curious in his mind, and he does not want to get into the shed. And he considers it as a mysterious feeling. That's all. No ghost is there, nothing. And he can very surely get into the shed like his brother does. Now let us move on to the question answer part. Look at the working with the poem. Answer the following questions. Who is the speaker in the poem? The speaker in the poem is the poet. Second question. Is he, she afraid or curious or both? What is it? The poet is at one side, he is afraid. And at the same time, he is curious. He is curious to know what is inside the shed. But he is scared to enter there. And to worsen the situation, his brother lying him that there is a ghost inside the shed. So he is both afraid and curious. Third question. What is he planning to do soon? He is planning to get into the shed soon because he realizes that his brother is lying and there is no thing like ghost in this shed. Question number 4. But not just yet suggest doubt, fear, hesitation, laziness or something else. Choose the word which seems right to you. Tell others why you choose it. Which word you can choose? If you choose doubt, the poet is not clear about whether the ghost is inside or not. He is still doubting. And if you choose fear, yes, the poet is at his young age, he is afraid, he is scared to get into the shed. And if it is hesitation, he is not sure whether the ghost is real or just a fancy. So he hesitates to enter the shed. Laziness. Yes, sometimes we can choose this laziness also. He can get the help of his brother himself or somebody else, or showing his braveness, he himself can get into the shed. Or you can choose something else. That is the. And the second question, is there a room in your house or a house in your neighborhood, locality, where you would rather not go alone and never at night? If there is such a place and a story to go with it, let others hear all about it. Yes, you should also have something to tell about such mysterious places, such haunted houses. So, such places are called haunted haunted house and haunted places. Haunted house or haunted room, a haunted shed, a haunted place. You should also have a certain such experiences that people don't want to get into it or go there. Narrate such a story and tell and share it with your friends. Okay? With this, I am going to wind up this lesson. Watch it, then take notes and read the textbook and prepare for your examination. Thank you.